I couldn't get a goddamn interview to save my fucking life. So I
Welcome, everybody. Blue Collar Boys, Jay here, the host. I'm here with Kaitlyn. This episode is going to be a little different than normal. I've had a few requests on getting some blue collar girls on the show, and Kaitlyn happened to be hired at my work. And so Kaitlyn, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us kind of a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Oh Jesus, that's a long question right there, but I can shorten it up for you. I am just a blue collar girl that I started in high school with picking up like some trades classes here and there, and I remember picking up a torch one day and I looked at my teacher. I was like, what can I do with this? And he was like, oh, you can go be a welder. So I started being a welder, and I went to school with that, and now I'm doing my mill writing shit, which is kind of crazy to be honest with you. But I don't know. I have mad ADHD, so I can't stick in one place for way too long. So I have to be out and about, moving and active, and I got to keep my mind going, or else I go absolutely fucking crazy.
So are you just a welder, or do you do fabrication as well?
Yeah, I do fabrication, fitting stuff. Yeah, you give me a blueprint, I can make it.
Okay. And so did you just accidentally fall into like the blue collar world, or like what did you do before you, like, have you always been like a tomboy type of person?
Yeah, for sure. So when I was growing up, when I was younger, I always rather played with the boys just because, like, I don't know, I picked in the dirt and played with worms, and I played softball for God since I was 4. I'm still doing it. I coach a little girls softball team. Um, yeah, I always played soccer. We always played this fucking game in recess where we would like whip balls at each other. We weren't allowed to do it, but we did it anyways. But I would play with all the boys, and like they wouldn't let up on me and I wouldn't let up on them. I remember one time one of the guys, we were just, like tackling each other for some reason. I don't know why, but he decided to full force run at me. He took me out, like took me off my fucking feet, plowed me into the ground. But we were in like grade 1. Like that was like I just played with the boys, right? Like I was just one of the boys. Um yeah, I don't know. I guess I've always been a little different than the rest of the girls, and once again, the ADHD just helps me. I need to be on my feet. If I was behind a desk, I'd go crazy.
No, that's like me. I suffer from extreme ADHD. I'm always fidgeting, drives
That's
people
most of the
insane.
guys we work with, man.
That's most of the blue collar guys or girls now.
I feel like that too. Their brains just work that way, right?
Yeah. So do you enjoy welding? Do you think of it as a job, or like as like a hobby, or as like art? Like,
Actually, I would say all three, to be honest with you, because I have a sticker on my helmet. It says, when the hood drops, the bullshit stops. And I'm not kidding. Like, I could be having the worst day ever. And the second that I flip down my head and my hood comes down and I hear the spark, I don't know, just nothing matters in that moment but doing that. Also, the more that I welded, the more that I learned, the more I started realizing that you can manipulate it and play with it. And there's so many things that you can do. And also, along with the fabrication part of that, too, I can get, like, I can make anything that I want, to be honest with you. If I really wanted to build something in my house, I could. If I wanted to fix my car, I could. If I wanted to fix my exhaust, I could. Like, it's just nice to be able to do things for myself too. So yeah, it's an art, it's a hobby. I love my job. I'm not going to lie. I wake up every morning and I don't want to off myself when I'm driving to work. It's kind of nice.
so for the longest time now, like the elephant in the room here is the blue collar trade has always been man's work. Now I don't want to get hung, you know what I mean? Like it's a stereotype that like blue collar workers, construction workers is a man's job. So you coming up since I think you said what 2016, I think you said?
Yeah, that's around when I started.
Okay, so from then till you're where you are right now, how much bullshit have you had to deal with?
Honestly, that's a tough question because there's some people that understand it and some people that don't. But I'm not going to say that there's not a difference between a man and a woman. There's tools now that make jobs easier for everyone, let alone women. But there's also like a woman uses their brain a little bit more. I don't know if that sounds rude, but we think a little bit more just because we have to get things done by ourselves, right? So leverage is one of my best friends. I need leverage for almost everything because I'm only like 115 pounds. I can't even tighten straps sometimes without like putting my entire body on it, and like my feet are dangling off the ground, and then sometimes I have to ask for help. There's some things that I can't lift. I'm not going to lie. If there's not a lift around for me to use and it's a tight spot and like we really need to lift it and I don't have like a 5-foot pry bar or something like that, yes, sometimes I do have to ask for help. I'm not going to be one to say that I don't. But on the other hand of the bullshit, that one's difficult because I feel like there's just assholes in the world, right? So, like there's some guys that are a little sexist, and I feel like that comes from like a little man complex of where they're like, oh shit, like fuck, she can do what I can do, and like they feel like some guys feel like they need to be like the man of the house, and like they need to wear the pants and shit like that. Like I don't understand that bull crap. Fucking grow up and get over it. I'm just smart and figured it out. Like fuck off. I would rather someone be willing to just treat me like a worker. Like there's one guy that I work with, and we worked so well together. We just bounce ideas back and forth off of each other. He has no problem trying my ideas. I have no problem trying his ideas. He has no problem asking me if his idea is like smart or reasonable or whatever it is. But there are some guys, like when I was first out of college, definitely the hardest time to find a job. I had to find a shitty production job, but I had to go door to door with my resume in hand, walking in with my boots on and everything, ready to do a weld test for people because I couldn't get a goddamn interview to save my fucking life. So I would go door to door to door, and I'm not kidding, just the amount of like eye rolls that you get, or like like you just get like the iffy feeling from people. Most people nowadays know that they can't say that kind of shit because they'll get in shit. There's like a really big no tolerance rule now, and that's why more women are getting into this trade. But yeah, honestly, it's a give and take kind of thing, but you do have to have some tough shoulders for fucking sure. You definitely got to be able to tell someone where to fucking go if you need to.
And I've seen that firsthand. I'm not gonna lie. When you first started with us, I personally was skeptical because there's days where I struggle, and that's like the small man syndrome, you know, that's buried into every man's head.
Yeah.
But seeing firsthand what you can do, you know, it wants me to encourage more females to get into the blue collar community. So another thing, like kind of feeding off of what you just said, you know, you're good at welding and you can prove that, like you put your money where your mouth is. But like you were saying, you had issues getting into the door in most places because they look at you as some, you know, a girl. So how did you overcome that? Like,
This is a good story. I actually meant to say this in the last thing, but I skipped past it. So I finally got into one place, and the dude brought me inside to sit me down, and I put my resume down in front of him, and I said to him, I said, I've been to a bunch of other places. They seem like they're not even going to give me a chance to even step foot into the shop. I was like, please. I was like, I have all my stuff in my car right now. I was like, just let me into the shop. Just let me try a bead for you. That's all. That's it. Just let me show you. And if you don't like what you see, I'll walk out and I'll leave. And I'm not kidding. That's literally what I did. And I've heard many stories about people doing that exact thing because sometimes they just don't fucking believe you, right? So I went in, I laid down a bead. It was for a TIG stainless steel welding job, sheet metal. So I had to do a fusion weld, and I had to try not to bend the shit out of it. So they had to see if I understood a little bit of the metallurgy part of it as well, right? So I laid down a bead. Buddy boy comes over and he goes, holy cow. He goes, that's actually really good. And you want to know what? I ended up getting hired. I started the next day, and I started in their polished like section where you can't scratch the metal. All the welds have like what was it? Like a I think it was like a 3/16 tolerance on each side where I can't burn past that. And it was kind of crazy. And I was just like, see, like that's all it takes, right? And it was the same with this place too. All the like the lady called me for this job, and she was like, they want you to go in for a weld test. And I was like, okay, perfect, I'll go in. And I go in, and obviously they try to do the interview part. And at the end of the interview, he goes, do you have any questions for me? And I go, I'm not even going to lie to you. My brain is not fully here right now. I was like, just please let me go downstairs and just start welding. And he was like, yep, no problem. By all means, go downstairs. And the second that I stepped foot into the shop, I'm not kidding. Most of the guys down there, they were like, what's up? Like what got you into this? Like they were curious, right? I always get the why do you do this? And this is kind of cool. I've never seen this before kind of stuff, right? So it's nice. I walk in, I chat people up. I'm pretty good at chatting people up. I enjoy cracking jokes and making fun of everybody. That's the best part of the job, right? Being boys. But yeah, that's seriously how I got my first job. I just like begged them to let me walk into the shop and pick up the torch, and it worked.
and then from then on, your work just spoke for itself.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I just my resume looks good now. I get people calling me now. It's kind of nice.
So this is a question that I'm sure, women who want to get in the blue collar field are gonna ask. And this is something that I think about is like, I'm trying to, like, I have no filter, and every one of my viewers knows this, but I'm trying for this episode. I'm trying to just like to filter a little bit, but at the end of the day, and I'm speaking from what I saw at the shop that day. You know what day I'm talking about?
Yeah.
How do you decompress after something like that when you get home? Like, how do you shake that off to come in the next day with a smile?
For the most part, it's honestly just like there's always going to be that one asshole, you know? You go in, as long as you go into a place with a good mindset and you fucking work and you prove yourself, people will normally like you. And I hate to admit it, normally the ones that don't like you are the ones with the little man complex that don't want to see you succeed. They wanted to see you fail, and they don't like that you're surpassing their idea of you when you first walked into the door. You know what I mean? So I go home, I'm like, fuck that guy. He's honestly, you know what? Sometimes I literally think to myself, I'm like, haha, I got under his skin, just by being me. Like, fuck that man. What's it mean to me? Nothing.
No, and that's funny because like people are just jealous. They're threatened. Threatened is sometimes a better word than jealous.
Yeah,
threatened.
For sure.
You got a guy who's been in there for 20 years welding, and
and I can lay
a
down the
girl.
exact same. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I can lay down the exact same bead beside him, and it looks the same. We can, they can give the blueprint to me or him. You know what I mean? He doesn't like that. He also probably didn't like the fact that I came in, did that, and then on top of that, they wanted to start doing my millwrighting apprenticeship. He's probably just upset that I'm young and had all this energy to do this shit, you know?
Right. So you're going to be going through school to become a licensed millwright, and
Yeah.
you're getting certificates for welding and everything like that.
Yes.
What was I gonna say? So if another female who was scared to start into a blue collar trade were to ask you like for advice on how you keep going, dealing with like the small dick syndrome, dealing with being smaller and like trying not to sound sexist, but like, you know, like you've seen the work we do, and this is the reason that I wanted to
Hard
put you on the
work.
show. So,
Man, I don't care what anybody fucking says. It's hard work. It's not for everybody. It's not even for every guy, for fuck's sakes. I have outlasted guys like many times. Like I've seen guys come in and out, and I'm still there doing all the work that they said that they can't do. You know what I mean? It's literally all about your mindset. You just got to go in, and you know how bodybuilders, they just fucking turn off their brain somehow and they just go. They're just like bull mooses in a fucking china shop. That's me. When I get to work, I see a fucking task and I just go. And I will get it done anyway, anyhow possible. And you always have to remember you have buddies with you. Use your buddies. You're there to work together as a team. You're never alone. And you don't ever know everything. So don't ever be afraid to ask a fucking question. Like, please ask questions. Don't ever feel smaller. Don't ever feel like you can't do something. And honestly, if you're absolutely terrified to do something, just get somebody to walk you through it, but still put yourself in the uncomfortable situation and just try. Because as soon as you try, I can almost guarantee that any of the anxiety that you felt will probably go away. And then you'll get off and you'll probably get an adrenaline rush, because I at least get an adrenaline rush after shit like that when I try something for the first time.
no, that's good. So you pretend you're speaking to a crowd of women and you want to encourage them to jump into the blue collar community. How would you word that to convince them?
Mm. That one's hard. I don't know how I would convince somebody to do it. It would be more so of a just go for it kind of thing. Like if you want to pick something, and I would consider telling them, find a buddy, find a friend maybe that does something that you're interested in, or maybe one of your girlfriends is also interested in something like that and you guys want to try it together, then maybe it makes it less scary. um Everyone has a guy friend too, for the most part. Like, talk to them, talk to your dad, talk to people that you see on the side of the road, for fuck's sakes. Like, just, if you're curious, ask questions, but go for it. Don't be scared to just hop in. Try to, I don't know, I went to school. There's also apprenticeships. But just go in with confidence, and I can almost guarantee you that as long as you go in with confidence and the will to work, people will take you on and they will teach you.
Okay. If you could change your career right now, would you do it? To anything?
To anything in the world? I don't know. I honestly don't think so. Like, I'm actually really happy where I am right now. And that's an honest, truthful answer. If you asked me that a year ago at the crappy welding, like production welding job that I was at because of COVID and shit like that, Yeah, I would have said no. I think I might want to change my job, but as of right now, no, I'm very happy and content on where I am. And all I can see is success and moving forward and learning more and building cool
Right.
shit and seeing cool shit too.
So what's the coolest thing you've built?
Coolest thing that I have built personally. Oh goodness. Actually, I used to do a structural steel welding job, and we were doing work at one of the airports, and there was an underground parking lot going in, and we needed like a support for the underground parking lot, obviously. So it was just this weird structure that was built, that was engineered and fixed up whatever to specs of the, I don't know, the pressure of the job. I don't even know, to hold up the building over top of it, right? But the entire thing weighed, I think it was 6 tons or around 6 tons. It took me, I don't know, I'd say 4 days to weld it. I think it was around 4 days to weld it. That was a spool and a half, so probably around 60 to 70 pounds of wire onto it. And I got to use the crane to flip it in all the directions by myself that I needed it to. I was climbing inside of it and all over it. This thing was massive. Like, I honestly wish I had a picture of it, because I welded the whole entire thing by myself. My welds looked nice and pretty and mint, and I don't know, I was just so fucking proud of it at the end of it, and I just put so much time and energy into it. And honestly, the end weld, when you get to stand back and you just get to look at all of them, oh my god, there's nothing better than that. Just so satisfying. It's gratification.
So that's awesome. Now, see, me personally, I can't weld for shit. I couldn't weld to save my life. Do you get satisfaction? I'm sure you have guy friends who are in the same position. Now, how big does it make your head when a guy comes to you and says, "Hey, I need help welding"?
Oh my god, I'm okay. Okay, you're making me blow up here. I try not to tell people that I get excited about this, but I definitely get excited about it. It honestly, it's a sweet gesture too. Like, it's honestly, it makes me feel a little wholesome about the generation to come too, because they're like, man enough, in my opinion, to come and ask me for help. They see that I can do something a little bit better than them, and they are not scared or threatened to come and ask, you know. But also, yes, my head gets fucking blown up like no tomorrow. I'm like, fuck yes. I don't know. Like I said, instant fucking gratification. It's great. Everybody likes to be complimented.
No, that's true. Do you have any other friends, like female friends, that are in the trades, or?
Yeah, I do actually. The structural steel welding job that I did, when I first got to work there, the girl that I went to college with started there 2 months before me. She got me the job. Then we ended up getting another woman welder, another job. Then I ended up leaving. And then now another two welders work there. So there's 4 other welders at that place, all women. It's kind of crazy, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. You know what? And myself and others, I know, like, in the Discord right now, we have a couple of people watching, and there's a licensed plumber, Joe, who's probably, you know, would be excited to see more females jumping into the blue collar industry, which is great.
And every time that a woman trades worker sees another woman's trades worker, we always fucking talk to each other, and we're always like, we're friends now. It's like instant friendship.
Now, for like, from experience, I've been on a lot of construction sites, a lot of different sites altogether, and like, blue collar industry is very, very raunchy. Like, the jokes, the mentality. Like, does it ever get to you? Like, the nasty fucking jokes, you know? Like,
To be honest with you, like, I'm just as bad. Like, I grew up, like, my parents, like, my mom swears worse than my dad does, for fuck's sakes. Like, her favorite word is fuck and shit. Like, I swear to God, my nephew's first word is probably going to be shit, to be honest with you. But, um, yeah, no, like, I'm the same way. Like I said, it's like you gotta be this type of person kind of thing to do this job. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, we're all kind of similar in a way. So yeah, I dish it out as much as they dish it out. No worries about that one.
Right. So like another question that I had was like a lot of these job sites, especially bathrooms, are definitely not geared towards women. So like, did that take some getting used to? Like, men are fucking gross. Like the
So normally, I'm not gonna lie, when I go into places, the first thing I ask is, where's the woman's bathroom? I will specifically ask for a woman's bathroom because men's bathrooms are actually fucking disgusting. And also, like, I don't really want to walk into somebody at a urinal taking a piss. I don't really want them walking in on me, fucking, like, I just don't want that. You know what I mean? So first thing I do is I walk in, I say, "Where's the women's bathroom?" Normally, most of the places would let me into the office and use the office bathroom. And as a woman, like, I would clean up after myself every single time. You know, like, I wouldn't make a mess, so they were okay with me using the women's bathroom on the inside. There was another place that made us a women's bathroom. They were like, "Now, like, you guys need a women's bathroom and a women's locker room." Like, they full blown renovated something for us. It was kind of nice. And sometimes, yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes you have to use porta potties. Like, they're pretty fucking gross. Like, yeah, they're really
I don't
gross.
even
But
like using fucking porta
like,
potties.
nobody likes to use a porta potty, right? It's like you try to make it out to like a Tim Hortons or something or anything like that. But if you use a porta potty, girls just hover. Y'all use the Kegels, use the quads, use the fucking. You guys got it. Just hover. 30 seconds. You got it.
So before we go on here, I'm just going to give a shout out to this week's podcast sponsors, Delta Contracting. It's a small high-end renovation company located in Orangeville, north of the GTA. And yeah, basically they specialize in all sorts of kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, any sort of high-end or low-end renovations. Delta Contracting. I will put the info in the bio. Anyways, sponsors pay, so got to do that. So now we're coming up to the 40-minute mark here. We're going to wrap it up shortly.
Yep.
What is there, like, where was a time where you felt defeated? Because I'm trying to word this without my comments blowing up. Fuck it. I'm not changing who I am. Was there a point in your career where you're like, fuck, I'm small, I'm a female, and I can't do this? You know, like a job where you got defeated, where you felt defeated, and it like fucking dragged you down?
Oh, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there has been a few times where, like, honestly, like, the smallest thing, like just tightening a bolt too much, or like a seized bolt that you can't get off, but one of the guys come over and kind of crack, like, and it kind of seems like they did it with ease. Like, that shit really just fucking grinds my gears. Like, I can't handle it. I just like throw my hands up in the air. I kind of walk away. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, but I'm starting to try to not beat myself up over stuff like that all the time. And once again, like I said, I'm starting to learn to use leverage and, like, using my tools that I have. You know, there's tools for a fucking reason. But yeah, I would say honestly, just like anytime that like I can't do something and I ask somebody for help and they kind of seem like they do it with ease, that shit really just makes me feel like I shouldn't be there, you know? Like I feel like I'm just being a nuisance. I'm in the way. I say that sometimes. I shouldn't say that, but I do apologize sometimes to the guys. I'm like, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm in the way. Like just like kick me out of the way if you guys don't want me in the way, you know? And they're like, no, you're good. But that's all in my head, right? Like I need to work on that part, but yeah.
Well, personally speaking, like I said, I've worked with you. I have no complaints. Probably before working with you, I would have been a lot more skeptical having someone of your stature on my team. I'm going to say that
5'3".
lightly, you know.
I'm
But like
quite small. I'm
I
5'3" and 115 pounds, so there's not much to me, guys.
no, but the drive and the energy is what did it. You know what I mean? And if more people like you are willing to come out and push more women to get into this industry, I think there's room for expansion. You know what I mean?
In my opinion, I feel like if we get more women into the field, then there's more women minds going on, right? So there might become more tooling developed to help us out specifically. Stuff like that. You know what? Like it will help us advance and evolve as humans as well, as corny as that may sound. But honestly, truthfully, like if we can't do something and there's enough women, they're saying that we need to figure out how to fucking do this. I'm pretty sure we can all put our minds together and get it figured out.
Right. For sure. So now the ultimate question that I have, I'm just going to quickly check Discord here and make sure that none of these guys have any questions for you before we kind of start to wrap it up a little bit. I know I'm going to get clapped back for this interview because I've said some shit wrong, but I don't care. Anyways, has there been any times where you felt like you were too much of a distraction to the other guys you're working with, to the point where it caused an issue in the workplace?
Times. Like I have worked at some places where where there were many young guys like me. So yeah, in that type of scenario, yeah, I was completely a distraction to some of them because at one point I turned into like this prize possession to these guys for some reason because they were acting like children, and they were just like, "Oh, who can get her attention first?" And they weren't even paying attention to work anymore. And then they were coming over and bugging me all the fucking time. And I was like, guys, I'm actually here to fucking work. Like, that's my biggest rule. Ladies, if there's anything that I can tell you, take this biggest rule. Never date any coworker ever, 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 ever. Always just keep it a friendship because then there's that borderline boundary, just full on for everybody. No one's allowed to weasel in and out, and then sooner or later nobody's even going to try, and you're just going to be one of the boys at one point. You can find a life outside of work, I'm telling you that much.
No, I think that is like wise words for sure.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this up, is there anything you wanted to add that I might have missed, or that like just kind of closing words, basically?
I don't know. I'd say fuck, I want to see more women out there, man. Like that's literally all I want to do. Like me if this can reach just a few women, like honestly, and inspire even one person, this interview will have been worth it in something. You know what I mean? Like that's all I'm here is like if I am who I am and I am here talking to you, telling you and giving you guys proof that it's possible, then hopefully maybe it'll give them hope to try. So that's all I want is you guys to just go out and give yourself the kick in the ass that you guys need and just fucking jump. Just do it. Nothing ever happens until you just jump. You got to pull the trigger.
Right. So going off of what you said there, where you wanted more women into this, if I were to use some of my contacts to help you build some sort of like a women's awareness blue collar platform, is that something you'd be willing to run with?
No, yeah, 100%. That one
Okay.
for sure. Like, I would love if honestly advocating for other women, if that's something I can do and something that will be beneficial to other women, then yes, 100%.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more after the show, and like my assistant secretary, producer, everything is in here, monitoring audio and all that shit. I'm gonna put you in touch with her after the podcast. You guys can kind of bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
But no, I have no issues with you piggybacking off kind of the brand that I've built to make awareness. I think it's a really, really good idea, for sure. Blue
I think that
collar
would be
trade has been
awesome. That'd be
sexist for
great.
too long.
Right,
So
I agree. Like the things are changing, and I would say majority of the young guys that I work with nowadays are like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it!" Like they're all in for it too. You guys think that they're not? They are. All the old fucks that don't want you there, they're all retiring soon. Don't worry about it.
perfect. Okay, well, if you got nothing else to add, we're gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, this is a little bit left field from what I usually do, but I'm glad we did it, and
Yeah, this was
hopefully,
great. Thanks
like
for
I
having
said,
me on.
it gets some awareness. And if anyone has any further questions, put them in the comments on whatever you're watching this on, and I can relay them and get answers that way.
I got you guys.
And other than that, I think that's a wrap. And you have an amazing night. Take care and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man. You too. Maybe I'll see you at work next week.
Take care.
Bye.